Imagine having a baby through surrogacy and you have to adopt your baby. Hmm. How does that sound? Well, for my intended parent living in Germany, I know this has always been your circumstances as an intended parent living in Germany. Surrogacy is prohibited in Germany, and even though it's not punishable, but if you do it within Germany, then you will have to adopt your own child. And this is why a lot of intended parents from Germany are traveling outside Germany, traveling all over the world to do surrogacy. And Nigeria is one of the places that intended parents from Germany usually visit for surrogacy. So this morning, I'm going to be talking about Germany intended parents. I hope somebody is excited because you guys will be like, you don't talk about us, you don't talk about us, you only talk about UK, Canada, US. Okay, so my German, this is for you. Okay, so surrogacy is allowed if you come outside Germany to do surrogacy. And but the only thing is, usually the law that applies in your country also might be applicable depending on the embassy consulate's decision. Okay, some embassy consulates might say if you have a pre-birth order, it's okay. You'll be able to get your baby's German passport, and but some would insist on you having custody order. Some will also insist on you having adoption order. Okay, and if you're going to be doing adoption order, that means you'll be doing it from Germany, not from Nigeria. But your custody order kind of make things more legalized and more appropriate for you. Okay, so my advice for my German intended parents is have your custody order done, and if your lawyer in Germany also wants you to do adoption order, then you do it. Okay, but pending then, when if you have a dual citizenship, then of course you can always get another passport, maybe a Nigerian passport or maybe US passport, whichever other country that any of you have. It is also important to say that genetic relationship is very important if you are doing surrogacy outside Germany. At least one of the parents has to be genetically related to the baby, because this also needs to be proven at the embassy. Okay, so this could be quite easy as well, but things also will take time. So when you're planning for surrogacy outside your location, then you need to take in time into consideration. So what can you do to beat the time if you don't want to stay too long in Nigeria? Like I said earlier on, if you have dual citizenship, maybe you have Nigerian passport, you can also get it for your baby. Get any of the Shanghai visa on it, and you can travel back home with your baby and come back again before your visa expire. Yeah, that could be tedious, but it's still better than staying in Nigeria for how many months while waiting for your embassy to process your application if things are not fast as you want it. Okay, so but everything is actually possible. I can tell you that I used to have an intended parent from Germany, and yeah, she does that. Got a Nigerian passport for her baby, and now things are she has legalized her baby stay in Germany, and so we could also always exploit that option if you want to, instead of just staying in Nigeria while waiting for things to be done, to be legalized. Okay, so my German intended parents, hope you know that yes, you too can also come to Nigeria for surrogacy, and there is not going to be any issue. Yes, commercial surrogacy is forbidden. Surrogacy has to be altruistic, and which is also what we practice here. We don't talk about compensation or payment, but we talk about reimbursement for expenses incurred during the process. So this is a whole lot of difference because this is when you're doing surrogacy, definitely you have to pay for IVF, you have to pay for surrogate mothers medical care and all that. So some costs will need to be paid, okay? But this is not payment to have baby. So when you use this term correctly, nobody is going to penalize you. I can assure you that. Okay, so I hope you have learned one or two things from me this morning. I'll be so much looking forward to see my German intended parents. Okay, so goodbye and have a very nice day. Of course, my name still remains Olarunke. Adios.